it's Stephen King's book, but Rob Reiner's Misery, based off of the Stephen King novel of the same name. And oh boy, is it a fun one. Dwibs, have you seen this film or read the book before?
I've heard this film mentioned on an episode of The Simpsons, but that's about it.
This is actually the movie that won Kathy Bates the Oscar for Best Actress, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that was before she became a fake Eskimo.
Yeah.
Which also was done by Rob Reiner.
We usually don't like to talk about that movie. Anyway.
We'll tackle that when we tackle that. For now, this is something good.
My crack?
So,
what
yeah,
makes you
audience,
think you should show my crack?
Anyway,
okay,
thank
you, Pedro. After that, but yeah, basically, audience, we're going to start right where the MGM Lions logo thing, with the lion roaring. So basically, when we say click, you press play. Everyone ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, this logo is so iconic that we actually have a thing where usually when we watch a lion roar, we usually tend to turn to the rest person. Shh, shut up, the movie's starting.
Yeah. Maybe that's the
Castle Rock Entertainment.
The same production company that produced Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
in association with Nelson Entertainment.
Yeah, that's a little bit of trivia that a lot of people don't bring up. Rob Reiner was actually the executive producer for Seinfeld, so food for thought.
Maybe that's how. When did Seinfeld start?
1989.
So what did it? Was he like? Okay, if you let me start up a okay, if I executive produce the show, will you let me make this film?
Well, it was already a powerful figure in Hollywood even before Seinfeld, so I'm pretty sure.
So wait, is this guy playing Stephen King or actually writing the book?
No.
This is one of our main characters.
No. This is Paul Sheldon. This is Paul Sheldon, played by James Caan.
Yeah, basically he's our main character, shall we say?
James Caan. He was in The Godfather, wasn't he?
Yep. Basically, he was. He's a famous writer.
Yeah. Untitled by Paul Sheldon.
That's my novel's name. Untitled.
Ah, yeah. I wonder if book writers still write their books like that.
Maybe the more old-fashioned ones, but no, I'm pretty sure most ones just use a laptop.
Oh, you mean the typewriter?
Yeah, whether you're writing a book or if you're writing a script.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I mean, it's much easier with a laptop now because you don't have to buy ink.
Was he in Godfather Part 3?
I don't remember.
I'll check.
So, of course, like most Stephen King films, we start off with things being hunky-dory.
No, he dodged a bullet, actually.
Nice.
He wasn't in Part 3. And it's funny because this one came out the same year.
Yeah, he couldn't make it because he was too busy being trapped in a house by an obsessive fan.
Yeah.
It's the synopsis of the movie, Joe. Everybody knows what the plot of this movie is, even those.
I don't.
Well, don't worry, Webs. I mean, it's announced. It's even shown in the trailers and everything. It's no secret anyway. So
It must have been secret if I managed to not watch it.
Oh, and Lauren Bacall makes a special appearance. Basically, Lauren Bacall is a Hollywood legend.
Yeah.
She was also older Sophie in Howl's Moving Castle, so that's also pretty cool.
Mark Scheinman. I guess Mark Scheinman's like Rob Reiner's go-to guy because he also did the music for North.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
80s music.
The song came out in 1990.
Norman Garwood.
Then again, I guess the decade was still way too young.
Yeah.
Barry Sonnenfeld.
You recognize him?
Yeah, Men in Black. And he's also directing the series of Unfortunate Events Netflix show.
Neato.
Rob Reiner knows to surround himself with talented people.
Yeah.
Hmm. You know what's funny? Rob Reiner's actually one of the. You know how, like, at some point in his career, Stephen King was practically actively refusing to give up movie rights, sort of because of how a lot of his other works were mishandled. Yes, folks, there was actually a time where, yeah, even before The Shining, there were actually some works that actually did get Stephen King wrong and were actually done for the worse. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining notwithstanding.
Which
But
is
yeah,
which is
basically, it
ironic
was sort
because
of Rob Reiner.
he didn't like that adaptation.
Yeah, which is why
Yeah,
he went on to make
yeah.
his own shitty
But that
adaptation.
case is different.
Well, you still have the right to say, you know,
No, I'm not saying he doesn't have the right. I'm just saying that, quite honestly, and it's not just me. It's pretty much the basic consensus that his version is worse than the Kubrick version.
By the way, fun fact. Originally the part of Paul Sheldon was originally offered to William Hurt twice.
Oh, great.
And then after him, then Kevin Kline, Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Richard Dreyfuss, Gene Hackman, and Robert Redford, but they all turned it down.
Yeah, because Al Pacino wanted to scream going, "Ah!"
Bit of trivia. For those who don't know, Lauren Bacall, basically she's a legend from the golden age of Hollywood. She was actually married to the legendary Humphrey Bogart. So yeah. And she's still around. So that's pretty cool.
Publisher about his most popular series, which he's planning to end because, well, hey, he's a writer. Sometimes writers feel the need to move on to a new series.
Yeah, like when J.K. Rowling tried to move on.
By the way, did you guys listen to what I said about Bacall? Because it felt like the...
Yeah.
No, I heard you.
We heard you.
It felt to me like the call was going a bit derpy, but I guess not.
Yeah, sorry. Wow, so...
Basically,
so
he's
he's
crashed, and because he's... No, he's incredibly injured, though. He crashed because, of course, there's a snowstorm, and, well, back then, cars weren't nearly as well
never mind.
prepared.
Wait. A Stephen King-based film based in somewhere that's undergoing a snowstorm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Shining again.
Oh,
remake is Shining 10 years later.
allow me to correct myself. No. She died last year, sadly.
Oh.
And to be fair, it's justified here with any similarities, and seeing as how, like, well, it's pretty much just the snowstorm and one other element that are similar.
So let me guess, this is the crazed guy who wants...
The woman, actually.
Oh.
You'll see, Twibs. You'll see.
Oh. Well, he looked a bit masculine to me, but whatever.
Well, it's Kathy Bates.
You'll see.
Not disrespect to Kathy Bates.
To be fair, she was wearing a heavy coat.
That too, yeah.
No, when you're speaking like that, he won't. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I'm also a nurse. You can consult my good old friend Nurse Ratchet about that.
You know, from what if I'm not mistaken, Stephen King's inspiration for this book was the fact that he was once approached by a fan who kind of come across as a bit too obsessive for it to him.
Yeah, I think that may be the case. Let me just check and cross-reference that. Background. One of Stephen King's inspirations for Misery was the reaction his fans had the Eyes of the Dragon. The fan rejected the Eyes of the Dragon because of its lack of horror. Paul Sheldon feeling chained to the Misery books by his fans was a metaphor for his feeling chained to horror fiction.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, and another source was King's addiction to drugs and alcohol and his struggle to give them up.
Sorry.
And yes, Pedro, you are right. He also seemed to have
Okay then.
he also attributed to a dream he had while on the transatlantic flight to London with the situation and the characters that became flushed out in Misery. So yeah, he sort of did get inspiration from that, although apparently, according to this, it was in a dream.
Well, at least it was a dream, so it was safe.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if he did have some fans who were that, crazy.
I don't know. That doesn't look like a hospital to me.
No. Basically, it's her house. She's a nurse, and well, they happen to be stuck there because of the blizzard.
Well, there's no blizzard going. Oh yeah, he's still in. Ooh.
Yeah, his legs suffered quite a bit from the car crash.
That's an understatement. Honestly, with the way she's coming across so far, I wouldn't really trust her.
That's the point, Webs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how they go about it. It's like, the way she's acting is generally friendly, but she does give that tiny bit of nervousness that, everyone would get. It's like, yes, as humans, the way we react is like, we're not always used to being treated so kindly, so of course we'll think something's up. I like how they're actually working with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy. This is Richard Farn. Wait, no. This is Buster, played by Richard Farnsworth, who was a big star at the time. Looking him up, are you, Dwibs?
Actually, no. I was just telling you guys of an interesting discovery I found regarding my next movie pick for us three.
Oh, goody.
Never heard of that film.
The FIFA film, Jova.
Oh.
Yeah. And again, considering apparently Sepp Blatter's being interrogated by the Swiss as part of a criminal investigation, I thought, what perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Work.
There she is.
Work.
And yes, there's Virginia, played by Frances Sternhagen.
I wonder what his interest is with that.
Rubber band.
Yeah. Yeah, better be careful with that razor.
Did we have Gillette back
Luckily,
then?
we're not Sweeney Todd.
I'm pretty sure there was, yeah. My grandfather, I think, back when he was young, I think he actually shaved with one of these.
Hey, don't move like that, you.
Yeah, that's...
Not a good idea.
You're lucky she's a trained nurse. Otherwise, you'd probably be scratched up bad.
Hell, I mean, be thankful there's all the scratch on your neck. Yeah, that's actually kind of sad, though, but Well, actually, it's actually kind of split. I mean, yeah, Al Pacino this ended up being in a shitty sequel, but hey, we wouldn't have got to see him, overacting to hell in that death scene.
Oh yeah,
What was he in?
I got Godfather 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Remember that clip I put in on our Evergreen commentary when Ethan was screaming, and then I put in the Al Pacino clip. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not even kidding. This when I first played that game back in 2010, when he opened that mouth so wide while screaming, the first thing that came to my mind was Al Pacino in Godfather 3.
Hey, it's every fan's wish. Get the ultimate sneak peek at a novel. The entirety of it.
It'll be interesting, like, if this movie was remade, or maybe someone actually made a retake on this story, they probably would make some. It would be well now it would be irrelevant, but honestly, it would be kind of interesting if back in 2010, I think it was that if it would be. When did the last Harry Potter movie come out again?
2011.
2011. It would be interesting if in 2010 or they made a movie about someone someone keeping J.K. Rowling against her will. No, make sure this character lives.
But I'm not writing the film. Steve Clovis is.
No, I mean the novel. No, I mean the novel.
That'd be more 2007.
Ah, okay.
Hey, imagine a version with Stephanie Meyer getting kidnapped and realizing just how insane her fan base is.
And everybody will go, oh, okay. Well, as long as you did, well, you can keep her there. Don't kill her, but keep her. You can keep her. You can keep her.
Yeah. The song so far, it feels like it's filmed like a 60s film made in 1990.
Oh yeah, might as well. I wasn't gonna bring that up yet, but since you did, might as well. Basically, Rob Reiner has a thing where he loves shooting films with traditional techniques. He doesn't really like weird camera angles and stuff like that. He just likes to basically just show what's going on and just let the audience enjoy the story. That's basically he's a very basic director, but he's very good at. He's one of those directors who realizes that you should never forget the basics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is well, let me guess. So I guess if Rob Reiner's the right way to do it, I'm guessing Sidney J. Fury's the wrong guy. In case you don't know, Sidney J. Fury directed Superman 4.
Yeah. Someday there will be peace. There will be peace when every leader in the world, every person will want it so much that the world rulers will have no choice but to give it to us.
That speech alone makes me consider placing Man of Steel over Superman 4. That line...
Yeah, I guess. I still hate Man of Steel, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from. That line. Oh.
And yeah, I mean, I like Christopher Reeve, but then again, the whole nuclear thing was his idea, so...
Yeah. And yet...
Yeah.
And yet now, gentlemen, we live in an era where we now have a superhero film that usurps the likes of that movie as the worst of the worst. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding this. When I first saw this movie, I was like 7. When this thing came on, I literally went, I literally got scared. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. There's a reason Annie Wilkes has a place in one of the record lists, which I won't spoil yet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, she may mean well, but she's also a few cards short of a deck.
Cappy's really, Cappy's really cool in here. Why don't you try this white jacket here?
Yeah. Honestly, Joe, I think she's missing the whole deck. Anyway, now we're in Fargo.
Fargo?
The Coen Brothers movie, or are you talking about the TV show?
Both.
Okay.
Seriously, all we need is either William H. Macy or Billy Bob Thornton.
Pardon me for a moment.
Go ahead.
Or Martin Freeman. Yeah, I gotta say, Martin Freeman does do a pretty good American accent in that show.
Yep.
See, look, sheriffs, the police are in the frozen area. I'm surprised the Coens didn't write this. Could have been a ghost. Mate, at your age, I'm not quite sure going snow sliding's the best idea. I mean, I know you're a sheriff, but
Getting too old for this shit.
yeah, I'm 2 days before retirement.
Oh god, two all-star actors, aged far but still in their prime when it comes to acting.
Oh, attire. There you go. Jesus Christ, woman! He could have found it, then maybe we could have saved the poor man. Oh well.
Well, again, I have.
And Frank.
Yeah, Dirks?
And so Frank died. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh.
Seriously, you're in the snow. Someone's sanity's called into question a few times.
Well, to be fair to him, it's not like he can really do much in his current state.
No, I was just saying how much this reminds me of Fargo.
I haven't seen Fargo.
I've seen both the film and the
You should see the
TV
film,
show.
Joe. It's really good.
Honestly, I like the TV show more.
Well, I haven't seen a TV show, so I can say.
Ah, yeah. Yes, Misery's Child.
Well, you have to admit at least one thing, Dwebs, at least Fargo has a plot, unlike a certain other film we could mention.
Actually, there's quite a few films we could mention, but we're not going to do that right now.
True, but for the context, we were talking, of course, about No Country for Old Men. Or as you like to call it, No Country for Exotic Films.
I'm going to read you a nice bedtime story.
Which is
His own story, go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there was a director named Rob Reiner. He made quite a few good movies.
And then he made North.
Yes. Yes.
And then after North, he spent the rest of his life trying to repay society for it. He eventually succeeded, and we will forget it.
Yes. Oh, and he was in Wolf of Wall Street too. The end.
Oh, neat! There's a play being written by William Goldman, the same writer of this film, based on this book. It's going to be in Broadway in the fall of 2015 for limited engagement. It's going to star Bruce.
You're telling me that we're going to have this character, talk about how much he loves this guy's work in song? That's pretty cool.
No, wait, who's
I don't know
who's in it, Joe?
Bruce Willis will star as Paul Sheldon.
I actually saw that on IGN, and I wrote a comment there saying, "What's it about? Is it about Bruce Willis's recent career?"
Well, he
And,
hasn't. He hasn't been in a lot of films lately. Like, I mean, his most recent film is the M. Night Shyamalan Labor of Love thing.
Which hasn't
And the
come out
pers-
yet.
And the person playing Annie Wilkes is someone named Laurie Metcalf.
Never heard of her. See, even the music kind of reminds me of Fargo.
Oh, Laurie Metcalf. She's the voice of Mrs. Davis in the Toy Story films. So Andy's mom will be Annie Wilkes.
What? Oh, hi, babe.
Oh, she was also in Treasure Planet. Apparently this Laurie Metcalf has been in a lot of stuff we've seen.
And I guess you just didn't notice. But again, I haven't seen Treasure Planet, so...
Aw, isn't that cute? She named the pig after Misery, the protagonist of his Misery book series.
That'd be like naming your dog Sadness.
Or naming your daughter Hermione Granger.
Or naming your dog Bitch or something. Guys,
Yes.
I've got a slight feeling she's not right in the head.
Oh, what do you mean,
What,
Dwib?
what makes you think that? Why would you ever think
She's just fine.
Okay,
What-
this
what-
bit
what-
here, I'm not quite sure whether she's actually reading the book or is actually a real.
No. She's just talking about what happened when her husband left her.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way she spoke kind of sounded like she was reading his book.
One cool thing about
That's supposed to be part of the idea.
one cool thing about crazy characters is that filmmakers tend to really like crazy characters because the crazy nature of the character allows them to do things that wouldn't work with other characters. Like, for example, her going from oinking to this works. It doesn't come across as a mood whiplash because she's so crazy that you kind of expect this kind of sort of thing with this character.
Maybe that's why her husband left her.
I also like how, at first they're setting us up to, kind of feel sorry for her. Because, we know she's not exactly right in the head. But, hey, there are a lot of characters in fiction who aren't right in the head yet. You're supposed to sympathize with them. And, overall, she hasn't done anything evil so far. She's actually legitimately helped him as a nurse. And for the most part, she has acted friendly.
She'll be fine as long as he takes the story in the direction she wants it to go.
Well, mind you, I've already seen the plot synopsis above this video, so...
Don't mention it yet, Dwibs. I think the scene's coming soon enough.
The trailer itself says it anyway, so...
Yeah. But let's save, fully discussing it for when the big reveal scene, which I believe is soon comes up.
Yeah.
Let me guess, those pills she's giving him is actually making the thing worse.
Oh, no, Dwibs.
I don't think so,
actually, no. Actually, no, Dwibs. Actually, no. She's legitimately helping him.
He looks like Tom
Oh,
Hanks.
yeah.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yep. Turns out he killed the protagonist off to end the series.
That chocolate's in the fridge, alright?
Excuse me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Jesus.
And that, oh boy, that scene.
Still gets me to this day.
And yep,
There we go.
I love that transition. I love that transition.
Oh, we
It's
all-
so.
you
Please,
missed
don't tell me you missed it.
You missed the entire scene here.
Well, I did see the bit where she starts shouting at him.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I love that scene because, okay, at first the film is building us up to think that, hey, she's one of those crazy but sympathetic characters. Like maybe she truly
And then
means
she
well.
snaps
But-
when she kills off the main character. He kills off-
And then, yeah, not only does she snap, but then she takes on this whole villainous persona. She reveals that she has kept his presence here hidden.
you know what
And if
this-
she dies, he's going down too. She suddenly becomes this cold, calculating villain.
You know what, Joe? You know what, Jova? I'm starting to think that this would be a pretty good analogy for how Shadow the Hedgehog fans felt about Shiro Marikawa after Sonic Adventure 2 came out. Like, you can't kill Shadow! You bring him back! And they brought him back.
He saw this movie, and considering how rabid the Sonic fan base can be,
He brought, you know what, maybe I should just bring him back.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, God.
Yeah, it turns out, though, that she is telling the truth, though. His legs are that bad.
But yeah, like I was saying, basically it's a big combination of Kathy-based acting, and I also love the way Rob Reiner shot it, especially with that close-up at the end.
Yep. If there's ever believe it or not, this is a film good enough that even Stephen King considers it one of the best adaptations of his work.
Or is it because this is the most faithful to his book or something?
No. Well, not just that. In fact, they have to. In fact, they actually make a few quite dire changes. However, they're still similar to the source material. I think the reason he likes this one so much is for the most part, it stays true to the source material. Albeit there are quite a few changes, but it still captures the overall theme. Whereas with Stanley Kubrick's Shining, yes, that film was good, but that one did change a lot of dire things, including some of the themes to it.
And apparently characterization.
Yeah, Kubrick.
That's it.
Kubrick mostly used the core story, not so much the actual book. Basically, it was mostly inspired by the book, not so much adapted of it.
Yeah, and to Stephen King's credit, considering how I actually do think that the way Stephen King handled at least the father's transition in his version better, I can see why Stephen King didn't really like that adaptation. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing movie, but as an adaptation, it is kind of screw up the message.
Of course. For me, it's like a movie, even adaptations of books or comics or whatever, they should be a good movie first and an adaptation second. So if it's still a good movie in its own right, it should still stand as that.
We should try. We should try and tell fans pissed off about the X-Men films that.
I agree. It's just I see where Stephen King was coming from, though, with being disappointed in the adaptation. Anywho, but yeah, now she swaps back to the friendly manner, and I'll admit, the way they have her swap between friendly and downright mean is amazing. She could be the best dang actor. Well, okay, in universe wise. I mean, even after the reveal, when she acts friendly, you kind of want to believe that she actually really is this kind old lonely nurse.
Yeah, I'm going to rip your book right in front of you.
Actually, no.
Oh, she's gonna do something even worse, Dwibs.
Make him eat the book.
Well, didn't you read the synopsis at the over the top of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Even if you forgot, Dwibs, trust me. I think, Dwibs, you know how you like characters that can be dicks?
To a degree.
This one takes the cake, shall we say.
Yeah.
To a degree, Jover. If it's
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, it's like, well, Annie Wilkes probably fits in the degree because, oh boy, she finds a ways to be a dick so many times.
If it's
like tricky.
if it's Wolf of Wall Street kind of dick, I'm fine. But if it's social
Sappy
network
kind of dick.
Oh yeah,
or if it's social network kind of dick, then
the reason stuff like
Oh god, this scene.
the reason characters like House and the characters in Wall Street work is because the story is built around the fact that they're assholes.
Also, fun fact, before the Broadway production, this novel was also adapted into an off-Broadway play. The play was revived in 2005 at King's Head Theatre in London, of all places, starring Michael Praed and Susan Penn Halligan. Yeah, I like that. She wants him to burn the draft for his new book series. He's saying, "Oh, I've already sent it. It's going to be published." And then she basically calls his bluff. Ouch. Yeah, another thing I love about Annie Wilkes, whereas, of course, most fans are crazy, this fan actually uses, her crazy stalking of her idol to her advantage. Also, starting to see another theme here, Dwibs.
Yeah, fans that want ridiculous change.
No, not that. But you notice how they're going back and forth? How they're sort of bouncing off of each other back at this.
Yeah.
Where is it? Yes. Basically, Rob Reiner retained the theme of it sort of being a chess match between Paul Sheldon and Annie Wilkes. It's like both are pretty much out to get each other. Paul because he wants to be free, and Annie because, well, I think you got a good idea from that reveal scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, well, both of them are like super competent for this particular battlefield, and the way that each tries to outsmart the other is quite interesting.
Could you imagine if you tried to do this for modern day, like on internet forums?
I love how she acts so nonchalant about him burning away any hope of doing a new book.
Doesn't that usually make it worse?
It depends on how you use the water. If you just toss the water on, yeah, it's going to make it worse. And since she's a nurse, she probably has the proper water for the job anyway.
This is the police. Get your hands in the air. Come out. What's the female's name?
Annie Wilkes.
Annie Wilkes, get your fucking hands in the air. You're under arrest for kidnapping.
Unfortunately, they're looking for his car, not hers.
Well, shit.
Fucking hell, I should have gone for Godfather 3. At least there I would be safe.
Yeah, I mean, the worst I have to sit through is Sofia Coppola's acting, but here, oh boy.
Yep. Yeah, basically those pills are sort of painkillers to help him for the pain. So yeah, pretty much Eddie Wilkes controls whether or not he feels pain, where he can go. And she was telling the truth. If she dies, there's not much hope for him unless someone happens to find him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't go hiding your pills underneath your bed.
Oh my god, that 80s haircut. She even sleeps with a pig plushie.
How lovely. Wow, even back then, people still had tellies like that.
Yep.
Which was around here by 1990. We were starting to go into the more
The flat screen ones.
not flat screen, more like the more bulky but plasticky tellies.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, I accidentally paused. Where are we?
Okay,
40,
we're at
41.
41:03 for.
Alright, I'm at 41:11.
Okay, and click.
Alright.
Yeah. He actually has a plan involving those.
Ah, shit, I might have screwed up as well. What time are you at? Sorry.
41:24,
Okay,
25.
I'm at 41:34.
Okay. And 3, 2, 1, click.
How thoughtful.
Woo.
I wish I had one of those. Using the Gillette is so troublesome. But they're awfully expensive.
Mm. Oh boy.
I have a friend of mine who has one of those, and he says that shaving with one of those is so easy you can get it done in like a minute.
Mm-hmm. My current razor nips a lot.
Yeah.
Wow, she actually made that line awesome.
That's right. She's gonna force him to write the novel the way she wants it to go.
And not only that, she's going to force him to bring Misery back in a non-contrived manner. That's right, she's going to force him to make the best story, and she will criticize him to no end. It's like, imagine if a crazed fan made Insert Offer Here to make a sequel to a book series that's supposed to have ended by the writer's end.
Basically, you know how nowadays in internet forums we see fans cursing and damning writers to no end. Well, this is what would happen if one of them actually got their hands on the writer we're talking about.
So this is what would happen if an insane Sonic fan got the rights to the Sonic series.
Yes.
Or if an insane Ace Attorney fan kidnaps Yu Takumi after the trilogy ended.
Or Takeshi Yamazaki.
Well, I said after the trilogy ended, but yeah, that too. Hey, who knows? Maybe a crazy fan did kidnap Yamazaki, and that's the result of Ace Attorney 6. It's like, we want Maya back. Now I want a situation that will bring her back, or God help me, I don't know what I'll do.
And we want Phoenix in the whole game, damn it. He was only a supporting character, even though his name was in the title. After all, there's never been a series where the main character's only been mainly in a supporting role. What do you mean, Mad Max?
So great, I want to hug you really tight.
Not so much. I mean, James Caan here is following the basic rule that you should never contradict an insane person.
Yep. Smudge. Indeed. So that's pretty much the equivalent to getting the hardest ending of Chrono Trigger. Your name in the credits and everything.
Yeah.
He hasn't been taking his painkiller meds, so yeah, that hurts even more.
I mean, my God, I can imagine this movie's concept being put in so many
Yeah.
ways.
That's what makes this movie so timeless.
I mean,
I know this-
what if excuse me, what if someone kidnapped the current Sonic writers and made them go, okay, you're to write this like I want you to, otherwise I'm gonna expose you.
You have to bring back gun and the black arms and shit.
Yeah. Oh, and while you're at it, bring back Elise.
And so I want Blaze finally shipped with Sonic. That's the only shift that seems to make sense to me.
but we don't. But this is Sonic. He doesn't care about romance.
Even worse.
Oh, you can't fool me. They clearly show romantic moments in Rush Adventure.
Even worse. Imagine if it's a Sonami fan.
Oh no!
Oh dear. Oh god, can you imagine if shipping wars got involved?
Yeah, seriously. I know you're not a big fan of Pontac and Graf, but even then, could you imagine them being in that situation?
Uh-oh.
The lock was a fake.
Not only that, but
Is it a fake?
Oh, James, I see you've played some Sierra point and click games.
although this is kind of
what is up with airpins being used to pick locks?
actually, Pedro, back in the day, this actually was a legit thing. Seeing as
No,
how I'm
I'm aware that it's a legit thing. Don't get me wrong. It's just that it's just that usually people like me and Teo tend to associate the Sierra point and click because they always use. It's happened so often in Sierra games that it's become kind of a thing where we always think of those.
guess Pids just happened to be all the rage.
James, are you sure this is a good idea?
I mean, even if you do escape, where are you gonna go? It's all snowy.
Not only that, but you are still confined to a wheelchair.
Maybe you should try getting better and then maybe trying something. I guess he's desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's sort of the thing. On the one hand, yeah, he's in critical condition. On the other hand, in this state, he's very vulnerable to her, and she could do God knows what to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's trying to find a phone.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh boy.
Oh, what if this is the scenario happened to one of the guys who's writing the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Yeah, a fan kidnaps Kazushi Nojima. That would be Nojima. He's only one rider.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, never mind then.
That's right.
Was
That's
bumped.
right. She foresaw. No, she foresaw it, so she took out the power for the phone.
Yeah.
The power core.
So it'd be like right, I want you to put in DLC that lets me save Aerith.
Oh, definitely. I can definitely. The Earth fangirls and would definitely.
Oh God, it's
Yeah.
it's a brilliant analogy. Bringing back a character who's dead and everything.
Yeah. But Aerith's death's essential to the story. I don't care! Have Tifa die or something!
Earth is I ship Call of Earth, so have Tifa die instead.
Oh, Yuffie, because no one likes her. We can't kill Yuffie, because then the other things will make even less sense.
Dodge the bullet.
But no.
Memory lane.
I see what you did there. Oh shit! I met her before.
It's like in Heavy Rain where we got to that Christian Nut's house where his house is entirely full of crucifixes on the wall. It's going straight in my pants.
Wait, I did grab the painkillers, not the Viagra. Oh boy.
It's a shame he doesn't have a cape because in the new King's Quest game it's not going in my pants, it's going in my cloak. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, Dwebs. That reminds me, Dwebs. I finished the game yesterday.
Oh.
Overall, I really liked it, actually. I mean, I still think that the beginning of the game is pretty weak, but it definitely got a lot better, and I mean a lot better.
Yeah. I love the interactive choices you can make. Not to mention, I love how they integrate the narration into it. It's a brilliant storytelling perspective from Graham to his kid.
What
and
I
of
love-
course, there's
what-
actually an art of pun making in the Graham family.
What I love the parallels they make between, old Graham representing the older King's Quest related people, whereas Gwendolyn represents the new audience who's playing the series for the first time with this game.
I.e. me.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun game. My only issue is the lack of a soundtrack, but I can see why they didn't
soundtrack. It's
include
just
that.
that the problem is that there is a soundtrack. The problem is that the soundtrack is not very King's Questy. I mean, it's not very memorable.
Wait, hold on. There is a soundtrack because I don't recall there being music for the most part while played.
Well, it's because most of the time the music is very quiet. And honestly, I don't know. I kind of prefer the more upbeat and fanfare music of the older games. I don't know. It's just most of the time I don't even notice the music, and so I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
One track. I do remember one track, but that's mostly because it's playing during the because I've got one of the themes on my PS4.
This scene.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Basically, he's calculating a plan that, trust me, has quite a few phases to it, and he can't afford to mess up a single step.
All right, James.
I love how they're making a scene like this actually legitimately heart-wrenching and, heart-pumping.
Wow.
It also helps the way Rob is shooting it. It also helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, I guess Mark Scheinman's talent is being able to make mundane stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing about this film. It's like, well, how
Correctly.
some of Stephen King... Yeah. You know how some of Stephen King's films, like say Christine, how those films, while they're technically good, do tend to have the long, mundane moments that kind of bore ya. Well, this film actually this film succeeds in the art of making anything that would normally be mundane full throttle interesting. Uh-oh.
Alright, Teo message is saying that he couldn't be here today, but tomorrow I'll be here for more time than usual.
Okay.
Nice.
Alright. Hey Annie, how you feeling?
Paul, have you been masturbating?
No, don't worry.
Pardon me.
You fake.
Okay, I'm back. Just had to let my sister in. What'd I miss?
She's like, what'd you say?
She said that if it wasn't for my temper, I would have been more popular.
That's like an unfunny comedian saying, if I were more funnier, then I'd be popular.
Yeah! The sad thing is that...
Yeah.
Just hope it's not poisonous.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So Liz, is this your first time watching a Rob Reiner film?
I believe so, yeah.
How you liking it so far? I'll take that as you like it so far.
Yeah.
Then again, it is Rob Reiner.
Yeah, aside from North, he never really disappoints.
In this case, I bet he wishes he was. Because then he wouldn't have to deal with,
Yeah.
Wait, was that Stephen King there?
What?
I don't
I
think
thought
so,
I just
no.
saw Stephen King, the guy with the glasses and the coat.
I didn't think
Which
so.
wouldn't be... Let me see if he cameoed.
I'll check. No, he doesn't. I've checked over. He doesn't. Joe? Hello?
Yeah,
He's gone.
No. I'm here.
No, I mean Jova.
I'm here. I'm here. I just muted for a bit because my mom and sis are talking.
I see what he's doing. He's checking. He's getting rid of the That woman didn't give me no painkillers. She gave me cocaine, the bitch. I noticed the American version of Family Fortunes in the background.
Good eye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Family Fortunes is still a better name, by the way. Seriously, Family Feud sounds like it's one of them annoying chat shows about families who don't get on with each other. How I Met This Insane Bitch.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Hey, you know what would be neat? Hey, imagine if Jack Nicholson's character from The Shining had a run-in with Annie Wilkes. How awesome would that be? See who kills who off first.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I wonder, did they meet each other in Dark Tower, I wonder? Well, then again, Dark Tower, I believe, is still continuing as a series, I think, or did that conclude?
I don't know.
By the way, I wonder if they'll make a movie based off of Doctor Sleep. Have you heard of Doctor Sleep?
Hold on.
I've heard of it. Isn't that a sequel or something?
Doctor Sleep is the sequel to The Shining. Made in 2013. Oh, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. Da, 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 da. Wait, by Rocket Man, does she mean the Elton John song?
Sung by William Shatner?
No, Rocket Man actually sung by Elton John.
Nah, it's a show. Oh, I love this. Yeah. Well, she does have a point. If the start of the second part does contradict the first part, that is kind of unfair. But man, that delivery. And yes, that's one of the most famous lines in the movie.
His face.
Yeah.
You know, Annie Wilkes is also a good personification of someone who does occasionally nitpick, but does also bring up a good point and contradictions in the writing. Because, like, back in the day when, you know, some shows did get a bit lazy like that, like having the start of a second episode that, you know, completely contradicted what happened in the first episode, that was a thing back in the day. Who knows? She could be a voice piece for Stephen King's critique on that. And if so, then I take my hat off to you, Mr. King.
Yeah, honestly, she's reminding me of those over-obsessed internet nitpickers who are never happy with anything.
Huh, so Stephen King predicted them.
Yeah.
And to be fair, though, she's a bit more sane than some of the ones I mentioned. She actually does get some satisfaction. See, that's the thing. She forces him to rewrite it over and over until it's actually a legit good story, one that doesn't feel contrived. That could be some of the best inspiration you could get as a writer, since it would ensure you never get stale. On the other hand, given the circumstances...
Let's trap Skip Woods with this woman.
Yeah, and that'll force him to be a good writer.
It'll take him years.
Hey, if it takes
Hey,
years,
Webs. A man is capable of going over his limits when he's under this kind of pressure.
Well, honestly, to be fair, Hitman Agent 47 was. Well, I mean, it's still not a good film, but it was better
which
than
one?
Hitman, the new one. I thought it was better than the first, at least, and was not the worst film of the year.
It's like an old sitcom show, except the dark part.
Oh, another thing in common with Coen Brothers thing. I'm looking for someone, but he's not here.
Now, if only they could do it as well as this film does it.
They would have to get a plot
You know-
first.
Come to think about it, I wonder if the Coen brothers were trying to do something like what this film does. Have all these mundane situations, but of course have a dark twist, which keeps you invested on them. The issue is that I think they forgot about that somewhere halfway, maybe a quarter into the film.
They forgot to actually...
With No Country for Old Men especially.
That's because they forgot to have a plot in that film and to actually make sure the characters were entertaining. Instead of boring, bumming around in the landscape.
Okay, we mentioned how the film is shot.
This film, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I'm wondering, I'm actually wondering what the cinematographer. I mean, I know he has to make sure the picture looks right, but I was wondering what Barry Sonnenfeld actually had to do here.
Let's see.
Basically, it's a cinematographer's job to make sure we're seeing what the director wants the audience to see.
Right.
Which is... Remember that story we both saw on YouTube about Kubrick's argument with that cinematographer?
Yeah.
Basically, Joe, it's an interesting story where the cinematographer who was famous, and Kubrick was not famous yet, he was basically trying to bully him. Basically, he was basically ignoring Kubrick's direction, and he calmly said, very calmly, "Put the camera where I told you to put it, with the lens I asked, or leave the set and don't come back."
Oh boy!
And needless to say, he did as you request.
Well, he is the director. It's kind of.
Yeah, he is in charge.
It is.
I mean, not to mention. I mean, yeah, I get that you're a famous world cinematographer. That doesn't mean it's right for you to bully past the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hell, maybe like Barry Sonnenfeld. Maybe you could have been the director.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So basically, Paul
which is-
Sheldon's plan here is to try and slip some of the meds into Annie Wilkes's drink.
Which is interesting. I didn't know Barry Sonnenfeld was a cinematographer.
Well, usually directors always usually start off as cinematographers. Usually,
Or writers.
or writers too. But when it comes to learning about directing, usually they start off as cinematographers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Sonnenfeld was also an executive producer on the Unfortunate Events movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one person carrying over from the film during the Netflix show.
Yep.
Now just to find out who's going to be cast in those roles, but probably won't be for a bit. And by the way, I know you spiked my drink, so yeah.
Might as well go into more trivia of the film. Basically, when Stephen King came out and revealed that this was also about his battle with substance abuse, basically, Kathy Bates' character, Annie Wilkes, is a representation of his dependency on drugs and what it did to his body, making him feel alone, separated from everything, while hobbling any attempts he made at escape. In his statement, he said he didn't come out with it at the time because he wasn't ready and because he was afraid it would detract from the story. So yeah, that's another good metaphor.
Technically the plan isn't foiled here. I mean, there's still probably traces of that in there enough to knock her out.
Oh, here's another fun fact. Misery was almost turned into a Broadway play, way back. Of course, now it is. But guess who was going to play Annie Wilkes, Pedro?
Cool.
Julia Roberts.
What?
Yep.
I can't really see her doing that role properly, but fine.
Yep.
Not a fan of hers.
No, not really.
Yeah, apparently what stopped that was that King vetoed the idea because Annie, in his words, is a brawny woman who can sling a guy around, not a pixie. I guess King agreed with you on Julia Roberts. Oh, also, Dwibs.
Yeah.
Also, Dwibs, you know how you brought up the similarities to The Shining?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, the guy who went mad in a hotel nearby is a reference to The Shining, also based on a novel written by Stephen King.
Yeah. So what, did you say King liked this film?
Yes, he did. Oh yeah, also, guess what? Jack Nicholson was also offered the role of Paul Sheldon. But passed because he wasn't sure he wanted to do another movie based on one of Stephen King's novels after what he had experienced with Stanley Kubrick on The Shining.
And also this
film, that's kind of a shame.
This film was the only film that was based off a Stephen King book to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And it also got an Academy Award. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's almost kind of a shame that Jack Nicholson didn't take the role because who wouldn't want to see Jack from Shining versus Annie Wilkes? So
well, then again, with Kathy Bates, you wouldn't expect her to be insane, whereas
well, I know.
Whereas Jack Nicholson,
I know. But I mean, just imagine Jack Nicholson playing the sane one of the two.
Oh boy.
Imagine what a shock that would be. But yeah, anywho, he's been making progress writing the novel. Yeah, he's been there for months now. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
That's right. Believe it or not, Dwayne, she actually wasn't completely insane. But now she's actually fallen in love with him.
Oh, great.
Usually, the way I see it is it's just her being, her obsession growing and growing. I'm pretty sure this woman can't even grasp the concept of love.
Well, apparently she did at some point, but since she used to have a husband, he's gone.
Well, then again, considering her, I wouldn't blame the husband for being gone. What did Mark Shyman do in terms of scores?
Anywho, but see, here's the thing. She still realizes that
if Mark Shyman did the Tarzan score for Disney, and I think he also did the scores for the South Park movie and Brother Bear. I think.
He didn't do Tarzan. Let me check.
Basically, Pedro, going back to what you were saying about her obsession growing. Actually, this scene also does show that because,
never mind, you're right. That was Mark Mancina. Don't worry.
Yeah, the guy who did the score for Speed and Speed 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this scene.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, anyway, going back to what you're saying, Pedro, about her obsession growing, it's like, well, yeah, even though she is getting even more insane, it's still to the point where she still realizes that eventually she'll have to let him go at some point. Which also I love because that will show the transition to the finale when, well, let's just say, Dweebs, you know how she's been acting crazy now? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's like, well, that's sort of what goes back to my thing. It's like, well, sometimes I wonder if maybe there was a point where, she meant well, but of course her obsession got the best of her. It's a film that suggests that she could be sympathetic, but doesn't try to force you to like her. Basically, this guy, Buster, he doesn't want to give up on trying to find the guy, so he does the next best thing, as in try and read the guy's novels, which he thinks might give him a clue to, if he's alive, what he might be doing or whatnot. Which is actually...
How can you get that from a book of fiction?
Well,
It's not
actually,
it's not a time travel film. It's not like you could go into the past.
basically, Dibs, reading the books gives him a look at the author's mindset, so he might get, more stuff on Paul unintentionally, because like a lot of authors tend to, pour their soul, figuratively speaking, unless we're reading a Chamber of Secrets, of course, into the book.
Tom Riddle's diary, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, basically, like, well, have you ever written this big essay, like, where you sort of let slip stuff about yourself in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what he's going for. A lot of authors do like to do some inspiration off of them. Oh, local investment banker dies. Carl Wilkes plunges to death. That's right, her husband died.
Oh.
Top nursing student falls to her death.
Oh, how convenient.
Like I said, she must be good friends with Nurse Ratched.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, how convenient. Let me guess. The one who died was supposed to get all the good stuff, but she got jealous of her, so she pushed her off the cliff, and she got her stuff instead.
Oh, come on, Dweebs. What could possibly lead you to that conclusion?
Oh, look at that. Veteran pediatrician dies. Annie Wilkes becomes county head nurse. Baby Lucy dies after 5-week struggle in hospital. Parents distraught. Second newborn death at Elridge Country Memorial. Next question. In hospital infant deaths. Let's just say Annie Wilkes really wanted to be a mother, and well, when her husband died, yeah.
She's a shitty nurse. Wow, this is like the most violent type of fraudster you can get. Murdering the others just so that you could be the top dog, but when it turns out you're a fraud. Mm-hmm.
He's prefating.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I need to brush up on my Godfather skills. It's been a while.
Don't worry, you won't need them. They're not making Godfather 4.
Thank God.
Coppola has pretty much stopped making movies at this point.
Then he still make it. I think his last one was called Twixt.
Twixt?
Yeah, but like
Twixt.
Yeah, but his movies get like zero marketing. I mean, when was the last time you actually heard about people talking about? Oh, there's a new Coppola film coming out.
Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, Jack.
Few movies can kill off a director's career so swiftly, like Jack.
What did he make after Jack?
After that, he pretty much dropped off the map. I mean, yeah, he's apparently still making movies, but I haven't heard of them. Have you heard of a couple of recent films?
I actually haven't even really heard of him so much. I mean, I've heard of Godfather, but not really the name behind it.
Exactly, you just proved my point.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be like if, I don't know,
Oh.
Never mind. Can't think of any good examples right now.
Ooh.
Oh shit. Have you seen my knife anywhere, Paul?
I don't know why, but I have the feeling that I may be screwed.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work. Plan B. Yeah. Yeah. You misplaced my knife, didn't you, you bastard? A burr.
Yeah, that's another issue we have to deal with when your opponent's a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, if this movie were a horror film, I'd rate it as one of the better horror films.
I love Kathy Bates' kind of soulless expression. It really added to the fear factor.
Oh, God, boy, it's this scene.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. She's an obsessed fan, but that doesn't mean she isn't obsessed with other things. I like their use of classical tunes. God, I have to stop myself from saying "ask that guy."
Oh shit.
Yep.
Crap.
Oh, you think this scene's gruesome? Wait till I bring up some trivia, but only after the scene, because, oh boy, the scene.
Oh,
Oh.
Ugh.
Jesus. Yeah, I love you so much, you'll never walk again.
And now it's her. She's really.
I guess
now
this is
she's
what you
pretty
call.
much-
I guess this is what you call tough love.
Yeah, yeah. So now she's become insane enough to the point where she wants him forever, and she will keep him. So yeah, here's a fun fact. Actually, originally in this scene in the book, she actually lops off one of his feet with an axe, but of course, Rob Reiner changed that. Rob Reiner said, "We got rid of the most gory and horrific parts. I wanted to concentrate on the idea of this chess match between the artist and his fan." And this is actually one of those big changes, but it actually works in the context as well, so especially when we get to the epilogue. So yeah, I mean, the reason this scene works is she's not chopping off his feet, but but basically she's now crippled him, which is
that's one of the main reasons.
pretty a good.
That's another example of
Yeah.
one of the main examples of why I tend to like movie adaptations of Stephen King's books and the actual books, rather, because honestly, I find Stephen King to be a guy who goes a bit too far with certain aspects. Like personally, I think that axe to the foot thing is unnecessarily gory. Honestly, I don't really see the point of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
In fact,
Stephen King is a good a guy for coming up with stories. I just don't think he's a particularly good writer in terms of the full script.
He can be a bit overly raunchy.
That too.
But yeah. Yeah, basically
This will
William
be,
Goldman. Yeah, funny thing is like, well, the writer for this film, William Goldman, actually wanted to keep the scene where the like where the axe chops off his foot. Seeing as how that is one of the more iconic scenes. However, Rob Reiner argued that like, well, Rob Reiner insisted that it be changed so that she only breaks his ankles. Because like, well, he wanted to focus more on the chess match as opposed to her dominating him, which is yeah. That's another thing that makes this adaptation so great. It's like, well, it stays true to the source material, but actually adds on because like, well, I don't recall the book as well, but I don't think it focused so much on the battle of wits between these two.
Yeah,
but the movie, absolutely,
Yeah. She uses the exact same quote that the writer used.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. That's why I tend to like the movie adaptations a lot more than his books because I just don't think Stephen King is that clever of a writer, honestly.
I think he is. The problem is like, well, he doesn't always. Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, she acts cheerful, and he's pretty much had it up to here with her.
Yeah.
I love that scene. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, it's like, well, Stephen. Yeah.
This is good. It'll be interesting with you mentioned that because my plans for our Shining commentary. I want to read the book first and then then watch the movie.
Yeah. Basically, Stephen King is a pretty clever writer. I mean, he's dang amazing. I think the issue though is like, well, from what I mean, when I read his stories, he doesn't quite put them the best in the writing. It's like, well, he has a very unorthodox writing style, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, in many cases, that's a good thing. But in quite a few cases, it does come to bite him in the rear.
You know what, guys?
What?
Yeah.
I'd have actually liked to have seen him try a second attempt at directing one of his own books, because, I mean, there were some moments in Overdrive where he showed he actually did have some decent directing chops. It's just, well, it got buried underneath...
And honestly, with Overdrive, yeah, I know technically that's a bad movie, but honestly, I think that shows the potential Stephen King has as a writer, because, like, well, okay, it was based off of a short story of his, but he actually did a well enough job expanding the lore and actually throwing in some over-the-top action with it.
Oh.
So, yeah, you know the drill now. When anyone comes visiting, you stay in the basement. Of course, I'm gonna have to inject you first.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Paul, this kidnapping relationship needs to work out better.
Excuse me, didn't I just see you injecting a man brutally with a syringe? You're under arrest.
And yeah, that goes back to how reading the books was actually a smart move. It's like, well, hey, maybe even if he's not here, maybe an obsessed fan might know something more about this guy.
All right, I'll be right back.
I guess this guy's one of those very experienced sheriffs.
Well, I think the age shows.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't imagine. Sorry. I can just imagine. I mean, not just Sonic or anything else. I mean,
Yeah.
what if
Well,
like
that's the idea. Well, that's the idea. It's like, well, this movie and the book were, well, okay. Maybe they were with the times, but if they weren't, boy, oh boy, were they. They sure predicted how relevant this would be.
yeah, or like
You can literally apply this to practically any works of fiction.
yeah. Hey, Pedro.
He's verbed, I think.
Oh. Sorry, Joe, but have you ever come across any fan base that's just like completely unreasonable? As in, no matter what the
Yes.
people do, they're just not happy.
Yep. There's always someone in a fan base like that.
Yeah.
Funny thing.
Yeah.
There's actually someone like that with the Ace Attorney fan base. And when I figure that annoying person just happens to have a lightning avatar, Pedro would know what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't usually frequent these at any fan base.
Oh. Well, never mind.
I've never seen these words before. You didn't force him to write this, did you?
Actually, she's pulling off the guys that she's the one writing because she wants to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, yeah, because that works out so well.
Fan fiction. Either that or she's going to try and make a work of fiction based off of it.
Well, that's still fan fiction.
Just like 50 Shades of Grey, which is now published in a movie.
And also Mortal Instruments.
I've never heard of that.
Basically, the author of that started off plagiarizing Harry Potter fan fiction.
Huh. That would explain why I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, and it got turned into a movie, which I've heard is terrible. I'm insane.
She's so kind of charming when she tries to act friendly. It's almost sad that she's truly maniacal. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough muscle power to talk yet.
Gee, I hope this girl hasn't laid down any traps.
Nah, she wouldn't be that crazy.
Let me guess, just can imagine now. It's just going to try and kill the sheriff just because he's getting too close. Yeah. Mark Simon is telling me so. Oh.
Nope, fooled you.
God damn
Okay.
it. God
Mark-
damn it,
Mark-
Mark Simon.
Mark Chapman just trolled you, Drips.
Grrr.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That was actually a clever fake out.
Fooled by the composer of all people. Yeah, he. The jig is up.
Clever, Wilkes, but not clever enough.
Oh, whoa.
There, now she killed him. But yeah, that was actually a clever fake out. Make you think she's gonna kill him then, but then when actually it seemed that all hope was finally retrieved, bang.
Just don't do the daft thing and shoot yourself first.
Yeah, don't worry, Dwibs. As insane as she is, she still remembers ever deadly competent. That's why he has to think fast. Ah, Dwibs, would you be afraid in these circumstances? I'm sure you wouldn't.
No, I would be totally content.
I would have probably. I would both piss and shit my pants at this point.
Clever. Very clever. He uses the one thing he knows she has lived her life for. The sequel. An author and his fan must die for a sequel to live. I know there's somewhere out there in the world of fiction an analogy to make.
Miss, if he dies, he can't exactly publish the book, thus it doesn't get made.
No. See, that's the plan, Dwibs. It's like, well, he's basically saying, okay, I'll give in, but first I want to finish this book so that somebody can find it and thus publish it.
Oh, shit. I better be careful, otherwise it makes it look like I shit my pants.
A famous Last Supper.
Are they going? I would be surprised if she cooked the corpse of that guy and made him eat that. For 3 days, add 3 nights.
Yeah, there's going to be a few typos in this draft since he's in a bit of a hurry. Jeez, and I thought Shu Takumi felt rushed with Justice for All. This would probably make him feel like he had as much time with trials and tribulations. Cute reference to Stephen King at the time.
If only typewriters had a backspace option.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can't backspace ink.
Imagine if somebody makes a futuristic typewriter, only to then realize, wait, don't we already have laptops for this? Wow, this must be the best moment of her life. He's just about finished the sequel to the book.
Excuse me? Breaking news headlines. The sheriff has gone missing.
Actually, yeah, that's sort of why she's sort of wanting to kill them, because she knows people are going to come looking for him.
Or her. But,
yeah. Well, by him, I meant the sheriff, of course.
Yeah.
All right, you've only got one shot at this.
Do not fuck it up.
Oh, this is brilliant. I won't spoil what exactly all of he's doing yet, since there is a bit of a twist what will happen later, but yeah. Yeah. Yep, all the answers. And now I'm gonna burn it. Ooh.
Ooh. Really? All that did was...
He didn't hit her just right yet.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh. And now...
Well, I guess that's the last bullet gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Talk about a low blow.
She tripped while trying to get the typewriter to get him.
I love how it dinged as she hits it.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, your time is up.
The story is over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Should I mention it now? Ah, what the heck? I'll mention it now. That actually wasn't the real story. The only real thing that was actually from the story was the top page he printed on top.
Oh, come on.
Well, there are some people, especially when they're insane, have
Christ,
a lot of fight left in them.
This battle's going to have more fake out endings than Terminator 1.
Well, come on, Liz. That's this kind. When it comes to this kind of films, this is filmmaking 101. Whoa!
Ding, ding, ding.
And that ended her, since it sort of pushed her skull up in. Now, in the book... Okay, now in the book, what happens is like, well, yeah, that is what supposedly finishes her off, but then it turns out that she was crawling towards her barn to get the axe to finish him off, which gives off the feeling that she might not be dead, but did turn out dead. But yeah, okay. Anywho, it turns out that he actually didn't burn the book. No, actually, he most of the pages were actually blanks. He actually kept the book and published it, and it became a big hit. So the ironic thing is like, well, he's back to writing Misery. And yes, he also did get to write that other book. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll call it Misery. Uh-oh.
Oh,
And that's why.
That was total.
Oh wait,
and
listen,
that's
wait,
when you
hold
know.
on, wait,
Okay.
hold on, listen to this line. I'm your number one fan.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's why he's gonna keep writing Misery, because, like, well, in his mind, he always feels like Annie will be there to get him. So yeah, how do you like that? It's like, well, he became a better writer because of the experience.
That
Misery
moment-
the pig herself.
That moment where he's basically seeing her everywhere, that's so Stephen King.
I know. Yeah, I know. And it's actually a good representation. He's found new success in his Misery series, as well as finally getting that new book published. Yet, the reason he's excelling at writing is because he still feels Annie Wilkes' presence. And that last line where the lady kindly says, "I'm your number one fan."
Yeah.
You gotta wonder what authors think whenever somebody says that to them, especially if they've been in a situation similar to Paul Sheldon here. It's like, well, how would you react if, like, you know, your supposed number one fan did to you what Annie Wilkes did to Paul, and then every time someone else brought up being your number one fan, how would you react?
I want to be far away from the room. Okay, so that was Misery. Can I go first?
Sure.
Actually, I really like this film. It proves that Rob Reiner pre-North did have some creative juice running through him.
Oh, and even
He
after.
still does these days.
Yeah, and I really liked the script. I enjoyed the performances, especially Kathy Bates.
Oh, okay. okay.
Totally earned that Academy Award.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Because I know. Because contrary to what some think, or even what I think sometimes, it's not easy acting like an insane person. You have to be careful it doesn't go into parody. Otherwise, no one's going to take you seriously.
Yeah, Kathy Bates' performance is so great that Annie Wilkes is rated in like the top 20 best villains in film of all time.
Yep.
She's actually up there close to Darth Vader. That's how popular she is.
Can I say now, Darth Vader versus Kathy Bates?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Go on, Dwibs.
That's it, I'm done.
Okay, Pedro, you
Oh
go.
yeah, absolutely awesome. Like Dwib said, Kathy Bates' performance is absolutely perfect. James Caan also does a fantastic job. And this is one of those movies where literally everything about it works. The atmosphere, the script, the direction, everything works in perfectly to convey this really, really scary scenario.
I know.
And
It does.
and-
Go on.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything it's pretty much thrilling masterpiece. Pretty much everything about it works. Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, wait, is the movie beginning again? Oh, never mind. But yeah, I love this movie. It's like, well, this film is technically not a horror film. It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But if they had marketed it as a horror film, I'd honestly say you earned it. I mean, honestly, this film pulls off so many of the things that horror films try but fail at doing it, and without overdoing it. It's like, well, okay, I'll put it like this. It's kind of like Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, but done in a more toned-down version of it. It's like, well, yeah, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining was all really out there, but this one manages to make it more realistic, and that really works. I definitely consider this one of Stephen King's best adaptations. In fact, I even loved it as a book. But let's talk about the movie. Okay, I'll just say this. Say what you will about this film. You can take almost anything out of it. But I say, if you come out of this film and you don't appreciate Kathy Bates' acting in this, there's something wrong with you. I mean, there's acting performances, but oh boy, Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes. I mean, okay, whether or not you like this film, you have to admit that she is a wonderful, wonderful character. It's like, well, she shows all the sides of a nutty fan. It's like, well, she's not just simply a crazy fan. No, there's layers to her, and you actually get the feeling that maybe somewhere deep inside of her, there was this kind, angelic personality who actually did legitimately want to help. But then it's overcome by the obsessive fan in her to the point where, well, everything comes all out. She goes from understanding she has to let him go to, oh boy, keeping him by any means necessary. But yeah, the horror stuff has actually done well. The there's not, yeah, the one or two jump scares in it are well earned. The music, it does a great job at giving you the sense of atmosphere, especially when it tricks you. Like that one scene. He got you good, didn't he, Dwibs?
Damn. Wait, Mark Shyman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grr.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, honestly, everyone who is involved in this film did wonderfully. Rob Reiner did wonderful direction and good adaptating. I mean, William Goldman actually wanted to keep some scenes from the book, but Rob Reiner rightfully kind of distinguished, and he gave legitimate reasons for changing some of the stuff. Like, of course, the axe chopping out the foot. Well, I did like that in the book. I honestly like the whole hobbling him thing better because it's more symbolic. And yes, I love how the movie is mainly a chess battle between these two. It's like both are dead competent. Annie Wilkes, while crazy, does not let things slip by easily. It's like if you combine Nurse Ratched with the ultimate #1 fan. I actually like the side characters too. They managed to not overstay their welcome, and you actually do feel something when she does kill off Buster. And there's actually a reason for him to find Paul Sheldon because, of course, him being out there and not coming back later is what eventually brings people to go and investigate the house. So, yeah, everything has a meaning. There's no needless filler. And, well, what else can I talk about? I mean, yeah. And like I said, oh yeah, Paul Sheldon, he also does a great job as the author of the series. I do like how he does have to bring back Misery in a way because it shows that Eddie Wilkes still holds a presence. It's any metaphors are very well done, and honestly, it's a film I like coming back to over and over to see what I missed or see any other cool references. And yes, of course, this film is timeless. This film is timeless as all heck. I mean, seriously, the source material, it writes itself. You can pretty much apply the situation to almost any real life offer. That's part of the beauty of it.
Yep.
And the amazing thing is that wasn't even the main inspiration. So yeah, I have to say, good job to everyone. Wonderful work, Rob Reiner, and the cinematographer, whoever did the camera work,
Barry Sonnenfeld.
very good setting up the mood. Michael Shannon with the music, awesome. William Goldman, great write.
Mark Shyman, not Michael Shannon.
Oh, Mark Shannon, sorry. But,
I can't imagine General Zod doing.
But yeah, well done, everyone. And yeah, that was a great film. So, Dwibs, would you say that that's a good introduction to Rob Reiner?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the next Rob Reiner film we're going to do?
Maybe A Few Good Men.
Why don't we... Yeah. Well, whatever we do next, audience, we'll see you next time.
See you, everybody.
See it.